From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Light Podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons. It is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Holy moly.
Masonic Light Podcast Take 2.
Special episode
here at Patton Campus for the KeyMan Conference for Pennsylvania and parts thereunto next to us, like Virginia and whatnot.
Ohio.
And Ohio.
As many states that want to come.
That's right. You're all always welcome. So we're here, and our first guest tonight is going to be Brother Joe Poulin, who is an employee here at Patton Campus. And Joe, well, our live audience is going to know they just heard this, but for our radio listeners, because of a technical malfunction, are going to hear it for the first time. Joe, tell us a little bit about Patton Campus. Now that you've already been through it once, maybe you'll be able to really knock it out of the park.
Sure thing. So, yeah, my name's Joe Poulin. I am an employee for the Pennsylvania Masonic Youth Foundation here at the Masonic Conference Center, Patton Campus, which is right across the street from the Masonic Village, part of their entire campus. We here at Patton Campus support the youth groups, DeMolay Rainbow, Job's Daughters, and various different programs. We have a great facility to host them for various different weekends. We have a great cafeteria, a multimedia center, a lot of different places on the campus that they get to create different activities and have a great time. Just like here at KeyMan. For the Pennsylvania Masonic Youth Foundation, we were founded in 1982 by Sam Williamson, and we've been supporting the youth programs ever since.
And I saw Sam's portrait out in the lobby, and Sam recently, probably within a month ago, just passed.
Yes,
and
it was a very sad time for all.
He was our senior past Grand Master of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Just one of the nicest men. And when I was monarch of Ubar Grotto, I had this crazy idea to go on a cruise. And Dad LeBall and Dad Williamson both came on my cruise. And everybody was always worried about Sam. He's an elderly man. He's walking around the boat. But he was in better physical condition than any of us on the cruise. Yep. And he was just walking miles around the ship, and Tom and Jenny LeBall kept losing him, but he was fine. He was just running around.
And that was the Sam Williamson we knew, too. In our office, we still have a picture of him playing paintball with the young men. So that's just the Sam Williamson we all knew.
Yeah, that's great. And are we going to come back to Matt again?
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and do Matt again?
All right, let's go one more time with Brother Matt Blaisdell. You may have heard him on our show before. He's helped us out. He got us a sponsorship with Guys Right a couple years ago, which we're immensely thankful for. Great graphic artist. But for this weekend, he's one of the ones in charge of KeyMan. So tell us a little bit about KeyMan.
Yeah, so KeyMan this year, this is our first year back since a bit of a digital hiatus over the past 2 years due to the pandemic. And we are more than excited to be back in person, let me tell you that. We've got about 43 attendees, and just shy of 20 advisors on staff for the entire week. It's a fully very involved week of education, chapter building, team building, engagement. Ultimately, these guys that you see in front of you, these are the ones that are going to be the leaders of the chapter, of the fraternity, of the future. And it's extremely exciting to see some good ideas coming out of the woodwork.
And the theme of this weekend is what? For Freemasonry, the road starts here.
The road begins here.
Oh! I got it close.
You're this close.
Alrighty. So we have some other special guests here tonight.
Why don't we take a break and we'll come back and get our next guest.
All right. Well, we're going to bring our next guest up in about a minute, so come on up.
All right. We'll be right back.
Who is our next guest?
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
So now we've kicked out the PennDOT employees with the bright shirts, and we have a couple of our DeMolays. So, would wearing a headphone have helped?
No. That was Larry's passing notes.
You guys are passing me crazy notes.
No, read the names at the top.
All right, so our first one. Cole Summerfield, our current state master counselor of Pennsylvania. And Hayden Hunt, who's our deputy state master counselor of Ohio. Welcome, John. So I'm a home team guy. So we're going to start with Cole, because I have a lot of problems with Ohio, but I'm going to leave you out of them because I don't believe they're your fault. But we will address those later. So Cole, where are you from? And tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into DeMolay.
So I'm from right outside Philadelphia in a town called Ardmore, PA. I basically a good friend of mine, a childhood friend named Andrew Santilli. His father was a Mason, so he had gotten involved with DeMolay since he was 12. So therefore, my brother, who was good friends with him since he was 2 years old, joined, and then I joined. That's kind of usually how it works. It's like a...
How old are you now?
I'm 20.
Okay.
Yep.
And you started at what age?
I started at 12.
Oh, wow.
12.
So you've been in this for the long haul. Okay.
Yep.
And so for people listening and parents listening, how's that process usually start for a child? Like when they get in, because it's one of my big pet peeves, and it doesn't, not just in DeMolay, it goes all the way through to every Masonic body, is we tend to assume when a new guy comes in that they know everything that there is to know, and they know where to go and what to do, and people throw terms out there like KeyMan, and you're like, what is KeyMan? I don't know what that is.
Well, and start by telling us about what DeMolay is, because we may have listeners who don't even, heard of DeMolay.
Let's go, a little DeMolay, and then tell us about when you started, how, go ahead, I'll let you roll with it.
Okay, I like to describe DeMolay as a youth-ran organization for young men from ages 12 to 21. And it teaches, the reason I say youth-ran, a big lesson that DeMolay teaches is leadership. It makes young men into great leaders. Also public speaking. I know when I started DeMolay, public speaking was definitely not my strong suit. This has helped very much with my public speaking. And so many different, we have different virtues that we follow, like filial love, love of parents, reverence for sacred things, courtesy, comradeship, fidelity, cleanness, and patriotism. Those are the 7 virtues that we follow. And yeah. And in terms of how you're the question you asked.
When you walk in as a 12-year-old, how does you get motivated to jump in, start advancing, and get to where you are today?
It's definitely a tough process. I know having people in already is probably the easiest to kind of be comfortable with everything. You know, having a good friend of yours and your brother also involved definitely helped. I feel like for young members, sometimes it's tough to get started, especially those who aren't maybe not as social. It's tough to maybe stay in the organization due to, yeah.
Right. Well, do you now, as state master counselor, do you have any specific project or goal, or do you have a theme for your year, like other Masonic groups? Usually the head guy has something that they're...
Well, we have done themes in the past. Recently, we haven't really followed a theme too much, so I'm not really following a theme at the moment. My main goal is to plan certain. I'm going to be planning certain weekends for the state.
So your year just started then, or?
Yes, okay. As of July. I think it was 15th, the weekend of July 15th.
Okay.
So
you're just brand new. Yeah, the ink's not drying on your application yet.
Yep.
Well, welcome. Glad you're doing it. And congratulations on is it an election every year, or is it more of a progressive?
Yeah, there's a. So we have a term. Every state master counselor has a term, and it goes for a year. So next year, there will be most likely a new state master or someone going for state master counselor, and obviously coming out of COVID, things have changed. So We'll see how next year turns.
And I guess the $1 million question for us: are you eyeballing a Masonic Lodge, or are you thinking about joining? Or are you already in the Masons? I'm
definitely thinking about joining Masonry. My grandfather was part of a lodge that we meet at for DeMolay, actually. That's the lodge that I have in mind right now. I think, obviously, I'm trying to focus intensely on DeMolay at the moment, so that's kind of...
And at 20, are you attending for higher education? Are you looking for do something? Are you employed, or what are you doing now for real life?
I work at for sanitation, like trash. Mm-hmm. That's my summer job. But I go to Cabrini University.
Yeah.
And I'm studying criminology there. So
nice. Very cool. Got a lot of. I think you got some law enforcement guys in the back row that might be able to help direct you where you want to go when you get done. All right, let's move on over to Hayden. So Hayden's got. How old are you, Hayden?
I'm 18.
Hayden's 18. He's got this whole rockabilly thing going on that I'm very jealous of. As a 53-year-old man, he's got better hair and sideburns than I do. So Hayden, what part of Ohio are you from?
So I'm from just outside of Columbus, Hilliard, Ohio.
Oh. Larry, go back to sleep.
It's just friendly competition between us and that other state.
The Ohio State University.
And what got you into DeMolay? How did you decide you wanted to join?
So when I turned 12, let me preface this. My mom was in Rainbow and Job's back in the late 80s and early 90s. She was very involved. And so when the time rolled around that I turned 12 and was eligible to join, she said, "Hey, you're going to go join this organization." And I said, "What?" And so, I was pretty standoffish at first, but as I've progressed through, I've made so many friends, and I'm so glad that I decided to travel to the Masonic Lodge that day that I had no idea what I was doing. So
you joined it at 12 also?
Yes.
Okay. So and then did you just take on your term for deputy in July, or are you on a different timetable?
Yeah. So I just got
Central Time out there in Ohio.
So I just got installed the same weekend, actually, July 16th, as Deputy State Master Counselor. So I have another year for that.
Okay, and then are you planning on, we don't want to get the cat out of the bag. Are you going to be running for your State Master Counselor next year, hopefully?
Yes, I will.
If they don't impeach you.
Is this an official announcement that...
yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, it's not held to any rules that you can't announce before.
Oh, no, it's not held to anything, no.
Okay.
We've been known to lead people astray, so that's fine.
And then, so what are your plans when once you, now you're 18 now, you could put a petition in too, I think?
It's 19 in Ohio.
Oh,
I've got a month, and then I'm petitioning Lodge.
Oh, good for you. What lodge are you going to petition?
I'm petitioning York Lodge in Columbus, Ohio. I can't remember the number off the top of my head.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So we'll welcome you as a brother once the paperwork is signed and the check clears.
So and this is a good question for both of you, what's been the biggest challenge outside of COVID that you've experienced in terms of your progression through the chairs of DeMolay? Have you run into any challenges that were especially tough?
Moving through the chairs for me, because typically you start at the chapter level, and then there's an intermediary level there. I know it's regions for Pennsylvania, correct? Districts in Ohio, okay. And then you get to the state level. It's really learning how to talk to so many different people. And public speak, that's a big thing that we teach in DeMolay, and it's something that you really have to learn how to do. I've always loved to public speak, but even then, it took a long time to be able to get up in front of a crowd of, let's say, 400 Masons at a banquet and talk about DeMolay, which half of them haven't heard about. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I went to college and my first speech class as a freshman, watching kids that had no experience in public speaking for the first time in their life talking to a room of 30 people
freaked them out.
Were just completely just stood there like a tree. Yeah. And so all you kids are going to have such an advantage in the real world just because of things like this.
Yeah, I will say this as well. One of the things I've noticed with brothers in Freemasonry who have been through DeMolay, they've turned out to be phenomenal leaders in our Blue Lodges. They take on responsibilities. They are leadership, well placed. And that's the value I see of DeMolay. Every one of you out there could become a worshipful master of your lodge. You could go on to state and become a grand master. You have the ability to do that. And I see that with DeMolay and doing a great job.
And the road begins here.
Yeah!
That was good timing, didn't you think?
Pretty good timing.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to come back with a couple more guests. Awesome, thanks.
All right, good job.
As far back as the mid-1800s, records exist describing the pre-meeting tradition of brethren smoking cigars during and after gatherings. To this day, the practice of smoking cigars remains very much alive in many lodges. This custom is considered a time for brethren to relax, exchange ideas, and enjoy the simplicity and fellowship that is the very essence of our brotherhood. This is what Hiram Solomon Cigars is all about. Our starting principles are to bring Masonic brethren together in the harmony of a good cigar. Pull up a chair, sit back, light up any of our premium cigars, and enjoy the history. Hiram Solomon Cigars can be found at fine cigar retailers. For a complete list, visit hiramandSolomonCigars.com or check them out on social media to find out when they'll be at a live event near you. Hiram Solomon Cigars is pleased to be the official cigar of the Masonic Light Podcast.
Hello, brethren. Dutchie Doug is back with an update from my lodge, the Broken Plow, number 377. Well, now we are back from our summer break, and what a break it was. The brethren of the Broken Plow really took the time to relax and finally get their tuxedo shirts dry cleaned. For us, it is a yearly ritual every June. Yep, you heard that right. We only get them cleaned once a year. Has something to do with good luck. By the May meeting, most of our shirts don't need a hanger to stand up, if you know what I mean. Now, I have talked about our annual summer picnic before, and we of course had that event again this year. It is always a great time for the brethren, their ladies, and children to come together and enjoy each other's company. This year, we decided to add one more social gathering to our calendar. Worshipful Master Amos Appleschnitz called all of the brothers and invited them to a cigar smoker on his farm in late August. Now, what many people don't know is that we Pennsylvania Dutch are big-time cigar smokers, Many Pennsylvania Dutch farmers grow tobacco, and the smoking of cigars dates back to our early years here in colonial America. In fact, cigars are so important that my grandfather was buried with a brand new one between his index and middle finger, all ready to go. Brother Appleschnitz put out the word that everyone was invited to his farm on the last Saturday of August. He would supply some refreshments, but everyone had to bring their own smokes with them. He also said that there would be prizes for biggest cigar, best smoke ring, and longest ash. He also hinted that his latest batch of Brandewei, that's the Pennsylvania Dutch word for whiskey, would be ready for sampling. The day of the event came, and it was a beautiful Pennsylvania late summer day, 92 degrees with 105% humidity. One could barely breathe, but what did that matter? We were all about to push our lungs to the limits anyway. We gathered around Brother Appleschnitz's patio, and everyone mingled for a while. Soon Brother Appleschnitz said, "Brethren, since we love ceremony and ritual, let's do this right. Brother Chaplain, invoke a blessing." Brother Bradiger gave a nice prayer, asking for blessings on both ourselves, our fraternity, and our cigars. We all concluded the prayer with the appropriate Masonic response. Then Brother Appleschnitz said, "Brethren, as the supreme architect of the universe met with Moses on the mountain, and fire came down from heaven to the burning bush, so let the fire of our hearts and minds also rain down on our undertakings this day. Everyone, let us all simultaneously light our cigars." The brethren all unpacked their various sticks, and on the count of 3, we all clicked our Bics or Zippos or lit matches and proceeded to light our cigars. We all waved at each other and took giant puffs. At once, we were all enveloped in a giant cloud of sweet cigar smoke. What a sight to see. We then each sat down in our lawn chairs and continued to enjoy the company and our cigars. After about 3 minutes of smoking, we heard the fire company's siren go off. And since some of our brethren are also firefighters, they rushed off to help fight whatever was the emergency. Within 5 minutes, we heard a fire truck getting closer. We all looked around to see if we could see where the fire was, maybe one of the local farms. The siren kept getting closer and closer. Then we turned and saw the fire truck barreling down Brother Appleschnitz's lane. The truck flew into the barnyard and the chief ran out back to where we were gathered. The firefighters looked on in disbelief. "We just saw one hell of a smoke cloud from over here. Where's the fire?" Chief Wasserman shouted. We all laughed and pointed our cigars. I guess we didn't realize just how much smoke 45 middle-aged Masons could make. The fire chief laughed and asked for a petition right then and there. What a day. Till next time, work hard, stay plumb, and out in the lights when you leave the room. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Dutch language, culture, and history, please visit my website, padutch101.com, or my YouTube channel. Just search Doug Maidenford.
And we're back on the road to where?
The road to
Wait, see, this confuses me. I remember there's a fork in the road less traveled. Remember that? That didn't do it either. What's the name?
Larry, just
never mind.
Just introduce
anyway,
the guest.
We have a guest up here tonight, Chris Misko, who's a member of the Northeast chapter in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hi, Chris, and welcome to Masonic Light Podcast. Tell us a little bit about your chapter, or DeMolay.
So I joined. Is this on?
Yeah.
It's on. Okay. I joined DeMolay in October of 2018.
Is it on?
I'm not sure.
Is it on? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, it's green.
Somebody's
It's on now.
There we go.
Okay. So I joined DeMolay in October of 2018 in Northeast chapter, which is in Northeast Philadelphia. And so before I joined DeMolay, I was in the Squire program in about a year before I was initiated into DeMolay. And I feel like that really helped prepare me when I started DeMolay. I was able to meet a lot of older guys who guided me through some lessons. They teach me how to become a DeMolay, and I feel like once I joined, I was able to become really confident in who I was and with public speaking and coming up here and doing things like this. So I feel like my chapter is the reason I'm being able to do things like this.
Do you feel comfortable being on the stage with us tonight?
Yes, I feel very comfortable
That's
being
awesome.
up here tonight.
What's the age range for the Squires?
The age range for the Squires, I know it's 9 to 12.
9 to 12?
Yeah.
And that's a recently a new thing, correct, everybody? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about doing that in Northeast Philadelphia. So is it popular? Is it your DeMolay chapter? How many people are in your DeMolay chapter there in Philly?
Right now, active, we have 4 members. I've been talking to some of the guys who have not been coming out as much, and I'm hoping that they might come to more things. But we're trying to grow each and every.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it's a big city, but it's also a big city distance-wise. To try and get kids together gets kind of tough. But and you're what? You're 12 now?
I'm 15.
I was going to say you're really tall for
Yeah.
12. I'm like, I don't think so. Okay. And what are your goals within DeMolay? Are you looking? Would you like to go up here? And would you like to be state master counselor someday?
I would love to have the opportunity to become state master counselor one day. I still have a lot to learn, but I feel like going through DeMolay and looking at all the older guys, I feel like I can learn a lot from them.
I like when he says he's looking at all the older guys. He hasn't realized what older guys are.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being good and 1 being poor, rate the pillows at Patton Campus.
Can I do lower than 1?
I'm just saying, I used to work at a mattress store, so I might be able to get a good sales contract out of this.
I brought my own pillows, so I'm okay.
Can I rate some? All right, Larry, you introduce Anthony.
Yeah, our next guest actually is Anthony Fulton. Anthony
Fultz.
That's what I said.
No,
you said Fulton.
Oh, my tongue must have slipped. No, I didn't say Folsom. That's a prison in California. This young man is from the Pilgrim chapter in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, close by, near and dear to our hearts, the state capital, unlike Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you for having me.
And how old are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
How old are you?
12.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your journey. Did it just start?
Yes. So I joined about the middle of July, so I haven't been in here that long. So basically.
So you're about a DeMolay for about 2 weeks, and you're already up here on stage talking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite part of KeyMan?
I would say swimming pool.
Swimming pool? Have y'all done something besides the movie in there? You have swim time, or was it just the movie the other
We
day?
have swim time.
Okay, cool.
Like pretty much every time, like after 9, we have until 11 to have free time.
Free time?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Okay, so you are enjoying it, and now after this is done, are you planning on jumping in and really progressing in DeMolay and learning some more?
Yeah. So I think DeMolay so far is pretty cool. It starts out kind of slow, but then after like a week or so, it starts to get like moving and starts to get more fun.
So for your friends that you might want to invite to come join you, what would you say to them about, here's why you should come join me at Pilgrim Chapter?
I would say that it's a fun experience. It teaches you, if you're antisocial, it teaches you to be more public with public speaking, basically. And yeah.
And fun activities too, right?
Yeah.
Right, now you have friends not just from Harrisburg, but from all over states.
The Mid-Atlantic region, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming up here and being brave. I mean, I don't think at 12 years old I would have...
Anthony, I'm very impressed, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you for showing up and coming up on stage. Very impressed.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and our last guest here is going to be Ben Bell. And Ben, you're the Region G Master Counselor. What is Region G?
Yeah.
So Region G, basically all of Pennsylvania is broken up into a couple different regions. And inside of my region, I have 4 chapters that I will be overseeing for the next term.
Okay, so what part of the state is that? Are you in? Is G?
The upper right part of the state.
Okay, so
Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
Scranton.
A very clear distinction. The lines are kind of drawn weirdly right now, but when you look at PA, pretty much upper right part, yeah. Allentown, Reading.
Okay.
Yep.
A couple of us happen to be members of the Valley of Reading, so
You do realize that's really another part of Pennsylvania that is different.
it is different.
So do you have future Masonic ambitions?
I do. I'm 17 currently. I'm looking to join Williamson Lodge because that's where my dad and my brother are currently at as soon as I turn 18.
Actually, I know where that lodge is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what got you, was it just your family's connection to Freemasonry, but what got you interested in DeMolay?
So when I was younger, around 12, a couple years prior, my brother had joined because he said to my dad, I want to be a part of something outside of schooling, because for him, school was never really the right area for him. He always liked learning, he liked growing, but he didn't like the social interaction per se. So my dad told him a story about how, I believe it was his grandfather, was at DeMolay, and Joe went, looked it up, learned everything he could know, and found a chapter near us, gave him a call, and became a member. So then when I turned around the age, my dad and my brother sat me down and they said, so you have an option now. You can come join and you can do what your brother did, or you can choose your own route. We want it to be your choice. And I attended a couple different events with him, public ceremonies, what have you, saw what he was doing and said, that's the path I want to go down. So that's what brought me here today.
Very cool. What is your favorite thing in DeMolay?
My favorite thing in DeMolay is, you're going to hear this word a lot, is the brotherhood. No matter what walk of life you're from, no matter what you enjoy doing, there is an area for you in DeMolay. A lot of these kids are going to talk about how we learn to public speak, how we learn to memorize, but that's not all that DeMolay is about. We're going to give you those qualities, but we're going to teach you how to get out in the public. We're going to be teaching you how to run community service events. We're going to teach you how to plan, budget, do everything needed to run an entire event so you're a well-rounded person going out into the world.
That's amazing, because I can tell you, as someone that has worked in business, I run into adults that you try to put them in charge of planning a dinner, and they cannot do it. These are some serious skills that every human being should know.
And we're not mentioning any specific blue lodges, by the way.
That nobody really knows. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being brave and coming up on the stage. And Timmy, where does this road start?
The road starts. The road.
It's on their shirts.
Somebody turn around. The road begins here. All right, Larry, why don't you take us out of here and pretend there's some chickens in the background?
Okay.
So at the end of every show,
you all act like you're chickens, and Larry will get through this. There you go.
Okay, that's good.
That's it. Come on, Larry.
I like the cow. I like the move.
That was good. Got to have some dogs barking. Come on, do it.
Okay, now the volume starts to go down, and I want to say special thanks to DeMolay KeyMan event. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
close enough.
That's right. Jeez. Yeah, I could just read the shirt. For allowing us to be here tonight and hosting us at this, as I consider, an epic event. Our first real, honest to goodness, live audience, well attended, appreciative of a bunch of old guys up here that do a podcast. Also, I want to give special thanks to Josh Lamberton, our producer-director, who's not here tonight, who's going to work with what Tim did.
He's going to have to put this mess together.
Let me tell you, that's not going to be a small feat.
No.
And one of the things we will do we will send emails out to your leaders here to let you know when this show will air. It will be an episode. There'll be an opening and closing. You'll hear that. You'll hear everything we've mentioned here. There'll be commercials in there, advertisement, and so forth. We'll give you a heads up when it will air. It's going to be a fun show to listen to. Also, too, I also give thanks to our Masonic Light podcast contributors, Michelle Snyder and Doug Maddenford, Dutchie Doug, if you've ever listened to him, he's a hoot. And also, too, to Jack Harley, our news director, who's noticeably absent. He says he's on vacation in New York State, I believe, right? And Tim Dedman, our marketing man. So, anyway, thanks for hosting us. Usually I tell a joke, but I won't do that tonight because I've been warned. Anyway, so
Larry from telling
thanks
jokes.
for attending. And for you folks that are going to listen to this ultimately, thanks for listening. This is Larry Miras.
This is Tim.
And this is Pete.
Bye, everybody.